Hi, I am Addy from Aniskull Recap. This is my recap for the anime, The Kingdoms of Ruins. If you like my recaps, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Thousands of years ago, after creating humans, God created witches. He shared a portion of his divine powers among them, and left the witches to guide and take care of humans. For thousands of years, witches helped propel the boat of life and stood beside humans. But in the present day, humans rose against the witches and have started hunting them down. Somewhere along the border of the Recap Empire, an ice witch named Chloe, along with her apprentice Anis, is looking for a safe haven. Being a witch, humans are constantly searching for her, and she can be their next target, so she continuously keeps changing her location. However, this time, it seems they are lost for good, and after traveling for days, Anis's legs have given up. Since they are in the middle of the desert, it's super hot, and he asks Chloe if she can use her magic to cool their surroundings, which irritates her as Chloe considers her magic not to be that cheap. After shutting Anis's mouth, she continues exploring the map to find a way out of the desert. Meanwhile, Anis manages to determine their whereabouts on a smartphone, which freaks out Chloe. She begins to lecture him about not using a smartphone, as through this, humans can easily track them. But it turns out Anis made the smartphone by himself, which uses freeform summoning magic instead of radio waves, making it impossible for humans to track them. Plus, it doesn't even require a battery to operate, and I wish cell phones like these existed in my world. He then mocks Chloe for using such lame paper maps in the current century, but little did he know that she's preparing to beat the hell out of him. After giving him a new head design, Chloe continues to read the map, but as they are about to leave, Anis asks Chloe why they have to keep running all the time. She tells him that humans' attitudes towards witches have changed, and no matter where she goes, it's a constant struggle as she has to blend in with humans and survive till they find out about her. As they continue their journey, she warns Anis not to engage in unnecessary talk until they cross the border, and he agrees to it. However, she keeps talking as she wants to find a place that tolerates witches and wants Anis to attend a school. But he doesn't like school and prefers to study under her guidance. Chloe starts teasing him, saying that he likes older women. Anis realizes that even being threatened with getting killed, Chloe is full of life and enjoys every moment. He wonders if they should eradicate all humans with magic. After some time they spot something in the distance, which turns out to be the border force coming in their direction. Anis prepares to stop them, but Chloe intervenes and uses ice magic with her staff. Meanwhile, the Emperor of Recap, Gothi, is furious due to the continuous failure of capturing Chloe. A man explains to the Emperor that it's nearly impossible to capture a high-ranking witch like Chloe. Still, he gets brutally beaten by the Emperor's guards, and Gothi orders him to capture Chloe at all costs. On the other side, Chloe has easily defeated the border patrol guards, which leaves Anis angry, as he wanted to use spells to defeat them. Even though he's human, he still wants to protect Chloe at all costs. She understands the poor lad's emotions and hugs him. However, one of the guards synchronizes their location information, and out of nowhere, a gust of wind surrounds Chloe and Anis. As they are getting sucked in, Chloe wonders if somehow humans have achieved long-distance physical transferring capability, which is a task that even witches were not able to achieve. Somewhere above in space, a satellite radios about the activation of the source code. Whoever is on the other side is transferring extra dimension QS at the central plaza. We then see Emperor Gothi addressing his people. He talks about their dependence on witches and thinks it's unjust for humans to bow down to them. Humans have managed to achieve so much through technology and no longer need witches' help. This fuels people toward a possible genocide, and a bunch of losers starts cheering. As he is walking back, Gothi's wife, with two big reasons, also thinks his speech was spectacular. Soon, a huge blast occurs, and we see Chloe and Anis have transferred to the central plaza. Anis takes out his pen and tries to buy some time for Chloe, but gets taken out by the guards. Seeing her apprentice in pain, Chloe threatens Gothi and begins to cast a spell. As she was about to destroy everything, suddenly her spell stopped working, leaving her confused. Gothi reveals that humans, through science, have managed to create a magic photon suppression device, in short SDAM, capable of eliminating any kind of magic within its proximity. He then walks towards Chloe and rips her shirt, exposing her in front of humans. People begin to take pictures like simps, and upon seeing this, Anis tries his best to stop the Emperor, but a guard points a gun at him. To save him, Chloe bows down in front of Gothi, asking for mercy. The Emperor then points a gun at Chloe, as she looks at Anis and thanks him for everything. And just like that, Gothi shoots Chloe, whose body then gets blown away by the guards firing. Adonis watches everything with tears running down his face. He remembers how Chloe found him on the streets and raised him with love and care. 10 years have passed since then. Rydia has now become a powerful empire, and with its immense technological leap, it caused havoc among the neighboring kingdoms. They gathered many slave girls, and due to limited food, they had to fight amongst themselves to survive. Among the slaves is a girl named Daroka, who has a kind heart and happily shares her food with other prisoners. Her friend Anna is worried for Daroka's health, but she's sure that she's fine and strong as an ox. Anna breaks down, wondering how Emperor Gothi promised humans would be happy once they eliminate all the witches, but even after doing so, the war continues. Daroka tries to cheer her up, reminding her that everything will be fine. As the girls were taking a moment of relief, suddenly guards entered the prison cell, calling for prisoner number 218. It turns out whoever gets called out never came back, and this time it's Anna's turn. To save her friend, Daroka switches dresses and goes along with the guards. She has been taken to Chief Warden Palpal's room, who wants her to strip in front of him, as he wants to make sure her body is good enough for the lord he's about to sell her to. The prison is run on the taxes of rich guys, and the girls have to serve them. Palpal then walks towards Daroka and forcefully takes some stupid-looking selfies for the guy he's about to sell her to. As he's busy sending the pics, Daroka takes this opportunity and bites his finger. She manages to run from there and is carrying Palpal's cell phone. The guards are right after her as she tries to voice activate the phone and release other prisoners. However, the phone's voice authentication system rejects her request as it does not recognize her voice. After trying multiple times with different sounds, Daroka finally is able to imitate Palpal's voice and release all the other prisoners. This causes a huge problem for the guards as they make a failed attempt to control the prisoners. Meanwhile, Daroka comes across a room with a huge container in it, and before she could understand anything, the guards eventually grab her. They try to stop the container's door from opening, but it's too late. They all watch in horror as the container's door slowly begins to open, and we see a guy chained inside it. He breaks the chains and gives a death stare to everyone in the room. He steps out from the container revealing his face, which turns out to be Adonis, who has been alive and imprisoned all these years. The guards prepare to stop him and put him back in his container, but Adonis jumps on one of them and sticks his rod in him. He then gets rid of the remaining 2 guards, killing them with their own weapons. Afterward, Adonis walks toward Daroka and points a gun at her. She thinks that he's about to shoot her, but instead of killing her, Adonis shoots her chains, freeing her from her prison, and walks away without saying a word. Within seconds, they send hundreds of personnel to stop prisoners from escaping the facility. Meanwhile, at the National Security Bureau, Senior Executive Yamato, along with Yuki, sends a powerful security agency operator, eke out after Adonis. On the other side, Palpal realizes that after killing more guards, Adonis broke into the confiscated item storage room and took his pen, which is an SS rank item. We then see Adonis on a rooftop with his pen. He starts writing a summoning spell and shoots at a nearby building. Due to his spell, the bullet size increases multiple times and damages the building. Adonis watches all of this from a distance and takes an oath to kill every last citizen. On the other side, while trying to find Adonis, Ekout has killed all the prisoners he came across. He learns about a giant bullet shell hitting a building and decides to go after Adonis. Daroka realizes that she has unintentionally let out a monster, and soon everyone will die. On the other hand, Adonis is walking amongst humans and wonders what Chloe would say to him if she was alive. The memory of her death still haunts him, and to avenge her, Adonis takes out his pen and starts writing a spell. The ground begins to shake as a giant humanoid monster bursts out of it and starts destroying the buildings. Soon, the police stations are filled with hundreds of calls about a walking giant, which the officers obviously think are prank calls. After destroying countless buildings and killing thousands of people, the giant monster, along with Adonis, is heading towards Emperor Gothi's castle. By this time, the NSB got a hint of this and tried to inform Emperor Gothi, but their report got blocked due to the Emperor's ill condition. Yamato, being a senior executive of NSB, declares a state of emergency and calls for all air and ground support. He then gets on a rooftop and watches as the giant statue is coming right their way. Yuki learns about Adonis's missing pen, and Yamato is now sure that the giant statue is controlled by magic. He questions about the magic photon suppression device and learns that the device is in an underground storage facility. But after 10 years, nobody is sure if it's still functioning. Yamato then puts Yuki in charge of the mission and orders her to stop Adonis on his path. Soon, the military tanks get in front of the giant statue and start shooting at it. However, the shells are not able to hit the giant as it's being surrounded by magic. Adonis then writes a spell and throws a building at the tanks, killing everyone inside them. We learn that in these 10 years, the Rydia Empire was busy doing experiments on Adonis. They were looking for the most precise way to slaughter whole nations using magic. Even though imprisoned, Adonis was able to surpass his magical capabilities. Adonis then summons some giant machine guns and starts shooting every living thing in his way. Meanwhile, Eekhout spots Adonis from a distance and reports to Yamato. Soon, fighter jets surround the giant statue and start dropping bombs. They don't even care about the citizens and start flattening the buildings. The blast force is enough to throw Adonis off the giant, and he lies on the ground watching the chaos happening in front of him. On the other hand, after saving a child from a collapsing building, Daroka runs towards Adonis to stop him from causing more harm to the people. Meanwhile, at the Imperial Castle, Anil Emperor Gothi wakes up from his sleep and asks about his kingdom. His wife assures him that everything is fine without mentioning a single word about the destruction happening just outside the castle. However, his condition starts to worsen once again, and he begins spitting blood from his mouth. He wonders if his illness is a curse from God for killing witches, but still, Gothi doesn't repent. He still believes that humans wouldn't have advanced if they continued to rely on witches, and that's why he killed every last of them. Adonis continues killing every soldier who is sent after him, and when he is about to kill the last one, Daroka arrives there. She tells him to let go of the human, but he kills the guy right in front of her eyes. Adonis begins to walk towards her, as now he thinks not only Rydia's people, but every human including Daroka is responsible for Chloe's death. He grabs her by the neck, and when he is about to choke her to death, Daroka calls him by his name and shows him her magical ability. It turns out, Daroka is also a witch who managed to survive the witch hunts and hid her powers. She infiltrated the Rydia Empire to free Adonis. She tells Adonis that there is a way to bring back Chloe by using his memories. However, he doesn't believe her and summons a sword to kill Daroka. When Adonis puts his sword at her neck, he remembers Chloe, who was also in the same position as her, and that was enough for him to fall to the ground and start crying. After many years, he met a witch who can resurrect Chloe. Daroka tries to calm Adonis, and as he is about to hold her hand, suddenly she gets shot by Eekhout, who was in a building waiting for Adonis and can't believe that he missed him. We then see a village getting burned by the humans, and Daroka watches as the human soldiers start killing the witches. Daroka's fellow witch hugs her, explaining that humans attacked the village without warning, and Daroka questions why they are being attacked as they had nothing to harm the humans. Her friend knows that they can't fight back, as this time humans brought along with them a device capable of eliminating any kind of magic within its proximity. Her best option is to escape and inform their leader, and she needs to follow the Star of Revelation as it will lead her to Ophelia's mansion. Daroka begins to run from the village as fast as she can, watching as her friend gets surrounded by the soldiers. Back in the present, Daroka is mortally wounded and is about to die from the fatal injury. Adonis tells her to hold on and asks how he can revive Chloe. Before she tells him a way to revive her, suddenly soldiers start shooting at them, killing her on the spot. The soldiers have also surrounded Adonis and begin to shoot at him. Luckily, his magic stops the bullets before sending them back at the soldiers. To end Adonis, Eekhout shoots at him, but this time he stops the bullet, and through his magic makes it bigger multiple times. Adonis then sends the giant bullet back to Eekhout and kills him without breaking a sweat. On the other side, Yuki has reached the magic photon suppression device and tries to activate it. However, she is stopped by Director Theta, stating that they can't activate the device at the moment. This leaves Yuki furious, and she demands an explanation. Theta then calls Yamato, explaining that even though they have achieved so much through science, the device is releasing some kind of particles linked to a deadly disease capable of killing cells in the human body. This explains why the soldiers who participated in the witch hunts 10 years ago died a terrible death. According to her research, after humans eliminated the witches, the natural environment has changed. The atmosphere that was capable of getting rid of the particles is now gone, which makes the device even more deadly than before. She further states that Emperor Goth was also exposed to the device's particles, and that explains his current state. Back in his room, Yamato watches on the screen as Adonis laughs maniacally and begins destroying every soldier sent after him. Theta insists Yuki to leave, but instead, she runs to activate the device. She believes that they can fix particle things later, but first they have to get rid of Adonis, as he is the bigger threat at the moment. Theta orders everyone to get the heck out of there and chase after Yuki. She yells for her to stop, and obviously, she isn't going to stop just because she was asked to. Yuki gets to the machine and proceeds to activate it. Just then, Adonis drops his pen and is shocked as his magic disappears. Yamato asks Theta about Yuki, and she states there is nothing to worry about. We then see Theta and Yuki are severely injured as she tells Yamato to focus on Adonis in front of him. She reminds him of his mission, and they can't lose to someone like Adonis. She tells that their empire is indestructible, and he is the one guarding it from all the threats. Yamato gets fueled up with patriotism more than an average American, and orders his unit for an attack. As the soldiers prepare to make some more holes in him, Adonis attempts to get his quill back. Just then, a female soldier gets between them as if Adonis owed her some money. She shouts at him furiously for harming the Empire, and just then, a nearby building collapses, blocking the other soldier's vision. This weird Karen doesn't give a shit about the collapsing building, and prepares to make Adonis meet his maker. On the other hand, Adonis is ready to finally die and see Chloe in the afterlife. The soldier simply cuts his head off with a single strike and comes out of the rubble carrying Adonis's head. The soldiers could not be happier as the threat has been dealt already. Back in the control room, everyone celebrates, and the female soldier is getting more followers than an average TikToker. However, Yamato is still concerned and orders his men to collect Adonis's body and rescue the victims of the area. He is informed about the soldier who ended Adonis. One of his men prepares to check her background, but Yamato stops him, stating that for the time being, it's important to look for Yuki and Director Theta. We learn that Theta and Yuki are severely wounded and are being carried away. Meanwhile, Emperor Gothi is busy giving one of his lame speeches while being alive on medical equipment. He states that the boy they took from the witch Chloe some 10 years ago is responsible for the destruction that leads to the death of thousands of people. He states that even though Adonis was their prisoner for 10 years, they have failed to understand how he was able to use magic. He feels guilty for letting the lad live for so long, but is sure that the Empire is strong enough to deal with any threat through the power of science. He feels cocky, stating that they have the best soldiers, which to me looks the same. We then see a girl named Iri at some school watching Emperor Gothi's speech on some Anime World YouTube parody. Her teacher states that a few of their students died due to the incident. However, the exams will continue as scheduled, and nobody will get any kind of benefits. One of the nerds questions the professor why Adonis chose to be loyal to witches despite being a human, to which he has no answer. His old ass gets saved as the class gets over, and the students get the heck out of there. Iri is then approached by another girl stating that she knows what she did. Iri tells the little weirdo to leave her alone and defends herself, stating that it was a normal reaction to that situation. She then goes to the site where the destruction took place and pays her respects to the dead. She is angry that the Empire has failed to protect its citizens. We see in a flashback that Iri's boyfriend got stuck under a building and was begging for her help. She had a chance to save him, but despite helping him, she preferred saving herself and ran away like a coward. The guy looked at her running away before becoming a pancake. She feels bad for abandoning him, but worse, she is now attracted to Adonis and finds his pictures cute. Suddenly, the deputy director Oz surprises Iri from behind like a pervert. By his dress code, she knows that the guy is working with the government. Oz tells her not to worry as he is not going to tell anyone about her secret crush on a mass killer. Iri apologizes, and after she leaves, the guy calls his subordinate, Charmy, reporting her about Iri. He tells her to arrest the girl as she is now influenced by the terrorists. Suddenly, his pet informs him that the final check in the disaster area has been completed. While returning back, Charmy informs him that some unbelievable data just came in, proving that Adonis's body was fake and he has to get back to the lab right away. We then see Adonis waking up somewhere else, and this is where this episode ends. Thanks for watching this anime recap. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more anime recaps like this. I will see you in the next video.